Bless the Lord, brothers and sisters. So happy to be back. And again, I thank God for you tuning in. I had a very disturbing, thought provoking dream last night that I want to share with you. The reason why I'm showing you this image of this movie theater type hallway is because this is where the dream that I do remember started. Brothers and sisters, in the particular dream, it started where I was running with a very scantily clad outfit on, only because I was in the dream. Remember, it was just a dream, but it kind of awakened me with such a fright that I decided to make a video accordingly. Now, brothers and sisters, this particular video, the devil tried to literally stop me by making the video and probably trying to literally erase every remnant of this dream out of my mind. So I'll try my very best to remember each and every remnant of the dream. So in this particular dream, I'm running like a mad woman outside of this thought of suicide, running very scared, but I'm still in this movie theater type hallway. So I'm dressing scantily clad. Like I mentioned, I was very depressed, wanting to kill myself because I was a prostitute inside of this particular dream. I was a prostitute, very young, very beautiful, but so broken and, suicidal outside of my mind that I was running as if I was ready to just end it all. Inside my mind, I knew that I was not doing things that was pleasing to God, but I was doing things that was pleasing to the devil, to the point where I was not caring anymore about anyone. I just wanted to literally escape. So in my way of escape, I ran, which this hallway felt like I was running for literally miles upon miles with no end in sight. Until one particular reason, I don't know, the dream changed and I'm seeing this old man in a wheelchair. This old man literally looked like he was seconds from death. This one particular man, for some reason, I knew I just had to stop. I was drawn to him for whatever reason. Doesn't make any sense. It was as if I had pity on him. I just knew that I had to stop for some reason. This one particular man, he wasn't a millionaire, but he had a nice substantial amount of money. I found that out because for some reason I just ended up in his house, apartment, whatever the case is. And he goes on to tell me more about his life and things of that nature, but he was specific in that he just wanted to die a specific way. And I was some sort of helper, as the clock ticked and he was closer to his death. I was to meticulously make sure that his burial, death, and arrangement was to his liking into the T. For some reason, if I was to do that, I was to gain a substantial amount of money. Now, this money, again, was not millions, but it was enough to get me out of the circumstance. It was as if he chose this stranger because everybody around him, he felt, for some reason, he could not trust. So me, in the dream, I was the one. I was chosen. But again, it was as if I was Samantha. I was living through this other woman, right? Again, she was young. She was beautiful. She was thin, but she was lost and she was totally in a state of losing her life. So you have two people on the brink of death, one with an insatiable desire to die, and on the other hand, a man with no choice but to die. It was a weird dichotomy there, but I just went with it. So hours went by. He was telling me about his life and things of that nature. But again, specifically, he wanted to die a specific way. He wanted to die near his house, 100 feet below ground. The way he contrapted it, he wanted to he wanted to die in a watertight casket. Nothing too fancy, but it had to specifically be watertight in a specific area around his house. It was a contraption that would go 100 feet below ground. Somehow, some way, it was already orchestrated. All I had to do was just make sure that his body would go beneath the ground, and it was, like I said, everything was all set up. I just had to make sure that everything was specific to his liking. And then, I would be the beneficiary, right? So he signed everything over to my name and things of that nature in the dream, but it got to a point where I kind of got to get to know him, got to get to know his life, his story, his everything, right? To the point where he was like a grandfather to me, but I was also seeing him as if he was younger and the things and the people that he used to know. He knew a whole lot of affluent people, mostly people who were in the entertainment, maybe adult life, whatever, lifestyle or whatever. So he was, I don't know, maybe like a man who, if you think of maybe the guy from, who's that guy from, okay, so just say he was the guy who did the Playboy Bunny Mansions. I forgot his name. But I know his face. Anyway, let's just say in his younger years, he was somewhat had a life like that. Maybe not the particular guy, but he had that type of racy sexual lifestyle, right? So I kind of connected to it because guess what? For some reason, I was doing the same thing. So it was not a judgmental thing there, right? So, as we're conversing about his stories and I'm talking about my stories, it was just like, two friends just sharing stories, but in a way it got deep. It got deep because, it began to be spiritual, right? Because it's like he was kind of ministering to me eventually because he was like a father figure after a while, and he was telling me about life and death and things of that nature. Now, mind you, I'm in the dream trying to kill myself and end my life, and he's trying to get every, gaping moment to let me know how important it was for me to preserve my life. So in the dream, like I said, we're moving on, and he's giving me the specifics about how he wants to die, and there's this, kind of specific way and things he wanted arranged. And then all of a sudden, the door opens, right? He opens the door, and I see a man with a ticket. It's like a long ticket. And this particular ticket probably, he's the ticket man who basically had the wherewithal in knowing about who died. It was a long ticket, right? It was a long ticket. It was tons of tickets that he had in his hand. And he was on the outside of the door. The old man in the wheelchair opens the door abruptly, but you could tell he was upset. All right. And the man on the outside said, "Oh, such and such died, And he takes the ticket, and the ticket flies in the house. And then the old man pulls the tickets and throws it back at the guy kind of abruptly, as if he's saying, you know, I don't know this particular man, but the guy on the outside was saying, "Oh, such and such died. Just wanted to let you know." And the guy was like, "Yeah, okay, okay." He takes the ticket remnants back and gives it back to the man outside the door, closes the door. It was as if, the guy on the outside was trying to tell him, "You're next. You're going to be on this ticket tape too." So that's why I guess the guy didn't want to, deal with that. It was kind of like a warning, like your time is coming soon. And just like I'm knocking on this door, the guy, you're going to be next. It's kind of strange in that way, but I don't know. It was just something that came to the door. He rejected it, but he understood that, you know, this was to be soon. So, anyway, so the dream changes, and we're talking again about the people that he remembers, you know, in his former, life dealing in that industry. So I'm attentive, I'm listening, and things of that nature. But it comes to the point where I'm aging within the dream. It's the weirdest thing. It's like time went warp speed, and I became not the young, vibrant, depressed prostitute, but I became an older woman to the point where I was aging and aging, hear me, and aging maybe 10 years an hour. Did you hear me? I said 10 years an hour to the point where, hear me, I was kind of catching up to the old man, right? So the old man, as I'm conversating with him, it looks like he almost passed and creaked over and died. But I kind of ran to him. I ran to him in a fright. I ran to him as if I was his wife trying to take care of him. Because again, we had conversation and the conversation got deep. It was like I was spending time and time with him. So he didn't die just yet, but he's very, very close, right? He's going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I finally, get him up, and then for some reason he shows me exactly what I need to do. Like I said, where everything is. And then we open up this drawer, right? That has, if you look down, I want you to envision 4 corners of a coffee table, right? I want you to envision me opening up that coffee table and lifting up the table, right? And inside that coffee table is an endless, long bit of, on 4 corners, pictures of people that were famous. I want you to envision this. I lift up the coffee table. Now, the coffee table, think of a pizza box. If you open up that pizza box, to be quite honest, it's emptiness because the pizza's gone. But in that pizza box, if you lift it open, I want you to think of an endless drop. But on that endless drop, on the 4 walls are people. Famous people, fancy people. They're dressed to the nines. But all the way down, it's an endless pit of famous people, important people, not necessarily entertainers, but just people that were of importance in their day, that were well known. Politicians, entertainers, scientists, whatever the case is, they were just people, back to back pictures of people. But all these people, hear me, I can see that their lives were not holy, to say the least. And I'm looking down, I'm looking down, I'm looking down. And for some reason, I'm not only looking down, I'm inside of there. And then I'm looking up. I'm in the center, looking around their, pictures. And then for some reason, I'm looking up, but I'm being forged down, down, down. Okay. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting deeper and deeper down, 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 and to the point where I'm like, wait a minute, I don't want to die. I don't want to die anymore. I was just to the point where I'm trying to kill myself. And then all of a sudden, I don't want to die anymore. Wait a minute, what's going on? Why am I in this place of feeling more of despair? I was just talking to a man who was telling me about life and being that father figure and helping me and helping me sort out who, what, when, why, and how. I became a prostitute, and in that predicament, And then now I'm in a position, hear me, where I don't want to die anymore. I'm going down, down, down. And he's still up there. And for some reason, the image changed and I'm like right next to him again. I'm not down there anymore. I'm right next to him. Right. And then it's time. It's like it's time for him to die. He dies. I make sure that the arrangements were just so. And then for some reason in the dream, right? My age and my wisdom and the things that I was taught changed me within, but I physically still had that young body. So in my mind, I had the wisdom and wherewithal of probably, I want to say a 90-year-old, right? Because time and the everything he taught me, this man, about life, about death, it was as if I knew better now. I was accountable for what I knew. And I did not want to die. But I wanted to tell everybody about my experience and things of that nature, right? And then the dream changes, and then there's this lady that's an artist, and she's singing a song, and everybody's jamming to the song, but they're not knowing that she's talking about something symbolic in the song. She's talking about how if they live their life a certain way, that they're going to be going to the cemetery. They're going to be going to the cemetery. They're going to be going to the cemetery. And she's saying it such in a way that it's so hidden and it's not blatantly understandable. See, a lot of people jam to songs, right? But some people, some artists say things so that you don't catch it, but you got to be deep to catch it, right? So she kind of made it like that. Kind of like something like, it's your cemetery drive. It's your cemetery drive. Like she said it like that. And everybody's jamming to the song, but not realizing that she's saying a lot of other lyrics within the song, but it's gearing up to it's your cemetery drive. So you're dead, okay? You're dead in that drive there, right? You're dead in that casket. You're dead in that car that's approaching that cemetery, but it's your cemetery drive. It was powerful. I understood exactly what she was talking about because I was deep. Remember, I had the wisdom of a 90-year-old, and I was just talking to this guy about life, about death, about God, about youth, about, I mean, just everything. Warp speed. But the people around me were just acting young, dumb, and just oblivious to what this artist was saying. And then it was just like up to me to warn them to like, you know what, do you understand what she's saying? Do you know what's happening to people that live their life as if they have a second when they really don't? Everything is going warp speed. And I wake up. I know this is a crazy dream. I know that doesn't make sense to a lot of people. Some people may think it's a Twilight Zone episode, but I'm just telling you, it was compelling to me. It was compelling to me. And I hope you got something out of it. I hope you realize that time is running out. I hope you realize that there are people out there that are literally wanting to die. But if they only had somebody to talk to who is on the brink of death, I'm letting you know, brothers and sisters, time is running out. Stop looking at your life as if you have all day to waste time. In that dream, I remember vividly that I did not, for one time in my life, I did not want to die. And God was like showing me that this pit could be your promise. There's a lot of people that are promised to hell. And there's a lot of people out there that are promised to paradise. But one thing's for sure, tomorrow's not promised. So whatever you do, even if you have to listen to this video again, I had to wake up. I had to get this out because I knew that Satan was going to try to get this dream out of my head. You know how you wake up and then it's just bits and pieces of the dream. You don't remember it. This is symbolic, yes, but it's a warning. Maybe to the youth, maybe to the older people. I don't know. You get what you got to get out of this dream, but I do remember the desire at the very end to live and to warn the people that time is running out. Time is running out. Be intentional about it every day. Give your life to Christ like your life depended on it. I want you to look at these walls. I want you to look at the image on the screen right now. And you see, as you're going through a movie theater, you'll never look at a movie theater the same again. The next time you go to the movie theater, you see these images of different movies. You see these pictures of these different artists, entertainers, actors. What if I told you that the image of what I saw was depicting things like that as well? These famous people that people worshiped were on their way to hell. You see them, you think of them larger than life. But I was around these images and I was literally descending. I was descending and I was looking at these images. What if it's a situation where as you're in a movie theater, it's the same imagery, but instead of 4 walls, it's 2 walls that you're looking at, but you're looking at these different images of these people that people are worshiping and idolizing as larger than life. Brothers and sisters, this is deep. You can take it the way you want it. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't give your life to Christ, I don't care if you're a celebrity or regular person, there is an end to this world and a beginning to another world. And it's called eternity. Where would you like to live the rest of your life? In heaven or hell? You choose. You choose this day who you will serve. Bless the true and living God.